How a losing period made me a better trader. Hi, it's Charlie giving you today's video. So I want to take you back to 2018. So I'm just going to zoom out. There it is. Okay, I've put this onto a weekly chart here of the euro dollar. So let me just zoom so you can see a little bit more. Okay, so at the back end, the funny thing was actually in the early 2018, I had a really good start to 2018. So I'd ridden that, that big old run up in 2017, and then myself and my traders in the community, we'd shorted up here at the beginning of 2018 and had a nice run to the downside. And then I had some buy signals as we got into the second half. I think it was around September, October of 2018. I was getting buy signals coming in, strong buy signals coming in technically, and so I was buying the euro dollar. But as you can see, if I zoom in a little bit, even on the weekly, you can see that it got very overlapping in price behavior, as you can see here. So yeah, we're having little runs, shallow runs to the upside, then just rolling back over. Small runs and then rolling back over. Small runs and then rolling back over. Even into 2019, but it was really from the, like I said, somewhere there, wherever it was, about October time or so of 2018 and through into the April time of 2019. So that was essentially a 6-month drawdown period, okay, from equity highs, so to speak, to equity, the low of the drawdown, okay. And then what I did is I downsized my position. I think it was about April or so. I just downsized my positions, my risk per trade, and it actually took me to the end of 2019 to reach new equity highs. I actually had a really good, in the end, 2019 from sort of April onwards, but because I was trading smaller, it took longer to build it up. But I didn't mind. I was quite chilled, and I'm quite a chilled trader a lot of the time. So I'm not in a rush to try and build it back up. So I just got in the habit of trading smaller, and I just let it do its thing. But what did I learn from that 6-month period? Well, firstly, I'm a big believer that what will be will be. A lot of traders will be like dissecting this period, saying, well, what went wrong? There must be something that went wrong here that I need to fix, and so it never happens to me again in the future. Well, it's likely it is going to happen again in the future, but it will just be a different thing. So over this period, it was very choppy. So there isn't always something to fix. There was nothing wrong. It's just that my method, my trading strategy was out of sync with what the price action was doing during that period. So, and I accept that. So that's one thing I guess you can say, that I was quite good at accepting the fact that during that pullback period, I think I lost about £160,000 as a drawdown. It's all relative to account size, but that's what I lost across my accounts during that period. But I have to accept that and trust in the fact that I've got a good approach to the markets, and that if I stick with it, then the markets will sort themselves out, and then what I always call it, you just trade through it. So downsize position and trade through it. So there was some adjustments because of the sheer nature of the market. I did in the end reduce some of my my targets a little bit, or I think I was banking some partials is what I introduced. But that's not a major thing. That's what I just did a little bit of that in, like I said, from sort of April onwards in 2019, while I was waiting for some bigger moves to confirm. So really it was just accepting that these things are going to happen. So at this point, it was 2 decades into trading, and then had my biggest, or in terms of time and price really and amount, my biggest drawdown over a period of time, over 6 months at that stage. And so what else can I have learned from that? Yeah, it was just a choppy market. So there's not anything to change. It's going to happen. You can't possibly know in real time that a market's going to start chopping around. So just trade through it. Have the patience to trust in your process and know that, yeah, it will come through it. The market won't stay in chop forever, whether you're trading this market or you end up looking at other markets as well. It's not going to last forever. And so there'll always be, fresh opportunities with the same methodology, and it's just having the patience to trade those. So how did it make me a better trader? I think it's just that it really cemented patience, tolerance for the markets just not doing what you're expecting them to do. Having had 2 decades of experience at that stage and having a pretty good handle on the markets, and then the market's still, kicking you in the teeth, so to speak, but accepting it and being able to go with it it certainly made me a better trader, I believe, in being able to take all of that, take what the market is giving me at that moment in time and trusting that I can trade through it, and that the markets will sort themselves out. They'll come out of all this horrible chop, and then away you go. And funnily enough, that's exactly what happened. So we got through 2019, and it was still overlapping in price action, but that wasn't a bad run that I had through there. I can't remember what happened through the second half of 2019 particularly, but what I do remember is, all right, forget the COVID spiking around at that point. What I do remember is catching this move. It was in about the May time of 2020 and having a whopper of a year in 2020. Actually, I hadn't had a bad year in 2019, but all 2019 did was bring my equity back up to its prior highs. So it was 2020 then became an outperforming year. And so you just got to trade through it. And that's what I always say. Just trade through it, trust in your process, trust in your method, which is what I do, and know that, okay, the market is trying to get at me, but I've got to accept that I can't possibly be right all of the time, and it's fine. Carry on trading through, a few adjustments, but don't always try and fix something. Don't always think you've got to change your approach or your strategy necessarily. Is it just the market misbehaving and nothing wrong with your strategy? So that was my conclusion, and it's made me a even more patient trader in having dealt with that, and it's made me have a load of patience going forward since 2000 and whatever it was, late 2018 and into the beginning of 2019, and to trust that, you just have to go through these things. That was my longest drawdown in years, and just trade through it and trust in your process, which I was doing through that anyway, but it was a good reminder, and I think it made me a better trader for it. There you go. That's enough for me today. Have a great rest of your day. I'll be back in touch soon.